I don't see any reason that you can't make an extra $50,000 this year in local marketing. Even if you're just starting out from scratch and you're just looking for something to help pay the bills or help fund a business venture that you're working at, or you just simply want to work with local business owners that appeals to you. I'm going to share with you a bunch of tips, opportunities that I see that are wide open right now. What you sell in general can just come back to you as profit. It's not like an MLM or freaking pyramid scheme. You really can just take the money. You can use it to pay bills, make the car payment, make the mortgage, alleviate some stress. And then 9 months or so, you're looking at like leaving your job, leaving your corporate job or whatever and doing this full time. It's so easy right now for anyone getting into this. I wasn't sure if it was just a fluke, but it is like wide open right now. And I say $50,000 because I think that's a really conservative number. But if you're trying to hit 6 figures or beyond, this is definitely going to help. I mean, I can't promise you anything. I can only share with you what I'm seeing works myself and with other marketers that I know, but it's just such a great time to be helping local businesses. Before I started in marketing, people were selling like really basic with just websites for $5,000, $10,000, and they were just turning them over like crazy. And you had to have a website, and the technology was just so hard to build a website that anyone offering a website was making a ton of money. And then along came SEO. Okay, you have this website, and now you need someone to do SEO and actually drive traffic to it. At that period of time, 10 years ago or so, there was so many hacks like keyword stuffing, and you could just randomly just throw keywords in there. Marketers were making so much money. Of course, it got so good that tons of people got into it. You know, you had people from India and Bangladesh calling incessantly and making even bolder promises and just taking business owners' money. And then the Google updates hit, and over the years, Google would make huge update changes to their algorithms. It got smarter. It got wise to all these strategies. Marketers just lost all their clients overnight. Businesses became more accustomed to this technology and started doing it in-house. I know I said in the beginning of the video, I said there's wide open opportunity. And that's because I'm not into SEO. I don't really know that industry well enough to say if there's opportunities. So to me, it looks like a total lost cause to me. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. With business owners, what I'm seeing lately that is a definite absolute trend. I see no end of it in sight right now. There's fewer and fewer options for them to advertise. I work with local clients all day. There just isn't a lot of options out there for advertising or marketing. There's not a lot of choices. There used to be a lot of choices. You used to have yellow pages, newspapers, even like radio and TV. Like they've changed to now streaming. You used to be able to run a newspaper ad, or you could run a yellow pages ad and put your money into those things. Maybe you're working with clients that aren't the big fish, and they don't have $30,000 a month to spend on paid advertising. And you have Facebook ads. So you have this iOS 14 update that took away a ton of data. You can't always tell if people are clicking or what they're doing with it. There's really just not a lot of things that they can try. Not every business has the money for a billboard. You can't really see those returns. So it's really been frustrating for business owners they don't know where to put their money. And the marketing budgets are there. Like business owners have money. They just don't know where to spend it. So what is this huge opportunity is EDDM mailers, like as particularly EDDM, these postcards, every door direct mail, if you're not familiar with it. I know this is not huge news to those of you who have been doing this a while, but stay tuned because there's going to be a ton of stuff. We're going to talk about a whole ton of stuff that you're probably not thinking of. Even though it's been around for like a decade now, it's still like this thing they don't know a lot about, but they hear about it. And anywhere you search, like it will have success stories. It's the king of advertising. It is always reliable. It's always there. It brings in people. So it's refreshing. It's new. Even though it's very old, it's something that looks super promising. But there are challenges of how to do it. Like where do I find a printer? Where do I find a designer? What do I put on it? How much is the postage? How do I do this and not get it rejected? If you don't know anything about that, that's fine. My channel you go through my playlist. I have a ton of stuff. You can email me. My contact information is below, and they will simply pay you to know how to do it. There's a lot of money in direct mail. One of the things I really like about it too is that it's scalable. It's like infinitely scalable. Things like pay-per-click and SEO, you're limited to the amount of people that are searching at any given time. So you're only able to target people who are actively searching for whatever it is you're selling or your client is selling. With postcards, you can actually reach the people that aren't thinking about doing it. So that's a much greater crowd. Like there's a lot of people who are thinking about going on a vacation or have back pain that aren't yet searching for chiropractors. They know I got to go to the dentist, but they're just not actively searching for dentists. And then they get a postcard in the mail with a really good deal for free cleaning, free x-ray. So you're able to target all these people that are just not actively searching. And that's great for you as a local marketer. You are helping the businesses get more business, and you're also not limited to maybe $500, $1,000 a month that you would be for other services or just a one-off like website design. You can be in the many thousands of dollars a month and profiting thousands of dollars a month as well. And everyone's winning. So they're getting a ton of business. You're getting a bunch of money, no matter who you are, young, old, the basics are so simple. The fulfillment is so simple. There's no technically challenging parts to it. I have never seen, since I started, so many people wanting to do EDDM. I think it's just because all these other channels have just collapsed. Like there is no daily deal. Remember the Groupons, daily deals, Living Social, that trend is over. Separate mobile sites is all over. Even selling websites is so hard right now because every business owner, they know how to do it. A lot have in-house SEO or they use another service, dump money into Facebook and they just aren't seeing a result, or they don't want to spend $2,000 a month for your Facebook paid ads services. So, which are all fine. They're all totally legitimate marketing services you can offer, but direct mail is it's like the Audubon, and it's just anyone can get in on it. Right now, especially. I also like that as a local marketer, you really don't have any overhead or expenses. So it's a really great business opportunity for someone who wants this as a side hustle, or they're trying to replace their current job. There's just no overhead that you really have to be concerned with. You can work from home, you can work from coffee shops. You really just need a computer, a phone. It's not really much more than that. And you can even target different areas. You don't have to be bound to your precise locality. So the most important thing is not having all this overhead means you don't have all these expenses. What you sell in general can just come back to you as profit. There's not a lot of you got to invest in better equipment. You got to invest. You don't even have to really invest in marketing. Those kind of things you can do when you're much bigger, but really you can sell stuff and just take the profit. It's a really great, legitimate, it's not like an MLM or something, freaking pyramid scheme. You really can just take the money. You may think, well, what are you talking? You're talking about postcards and direct mail. Isn't that like old-timey dead? Direct mail is dead. It's by far not dead. It is still like the biggest spending channel that local businesses spend on. Massive amounts of money, because the ones who know how to do it and to know about it, they spend infinite amounts of money. They spend so much money on it. It works so well. That's why you do get sometimes in political scenes, you get $1 million, because it works. You don't see a lot of smaller businesses doing it. And that is another reason why as a local marketer, you're going to have this wide open channel, because there's not a lot of really smaller businesses that know how to take advantage of it. So it's a lot of times it's just these major corporations, really big players, and even them, they're not that good at it. So when you put this kind of power of direct mail, specifically postcards, with a really small local business, and can do it in a couple different ways, it can, totally change their business. It's completely change their business, and you can be responsible for that. So that's a very rewarding, financially and just personally rewarding experience to see these little businesses grow because of you, despite how powerful it is. Because of the cost, because of the initial cost. In general, direct mail is about $1 per piece. That's, if you were to roughly average the cost of it out, it's about $1 per piece. By the time you have it designed, by the time you have it printed, get a list, if you're using a list, it's postage. A stamp itself is going up to 63 cents. So by the time you see this, it'll probably be 63 cents or more. It's expensive. So you've got 60 something cents in postage. You've got a couple $100 in design. You've got the list. You've got the actual printing. If you're going to print it on good paper, nice thick glossy cardstock, you're up into $1 per piece range. Not every business can afford to send 1,000 of these out and spend $1,000. You spend 10,000 of these out, spend $10,000. There's techniques that we can use that are going to make this a lot cheaper. Don't worry, those of you that are watching are like, I know what you're talking about, Jake. We're going to go through a whole bunch of really good stuff too, so just stay tuned. But for those of you that don't know, I think this is going to just blow your minds. And by the way, you should probably subscribe, because there's so much information that you're going to want to learn about after. subscribe to the channel, go through all the little tutorials that I have and stuff, if this sounds like something you want to do. And most local marketers aren't even thinking about that because they don't mess with direct mail. This is your chance now to get into that side of it where it's much easier. It literally is just this Audubon of opportunity. I love it. I keep wanting to do this every time I talk about it. It's been 10 years now. And my name's Jake Lorraine too, by the way. I don't know if we've met, but I own highresponsemarketing.com, Small Business Rescue Squad, and printingforsupercheap.com. All my contact information down below. I have courses and stuff, but there's nothing for sale here. This is just straight up information. I do a ton of these. These I call community cards, but they are basically shared postcards. And again, sorry for those of you that are familiar with this. Don't worry, just stay tuned. You basically just share the spaces. So you take a bunch of businesses that want to target the same location and you just sell the space. As a local marketer, you could do this from scratch. Sell the space. You can get the printing through me or any kind of discount printing source. I should be the best source though. My information's below. And you just mail these out. And if you charge, depending on how many you're selling, you can sell these spaces for $100 up to $700 on bigger cards. They can get anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 mailers. That's what's typical. And you end up making a few $1,000s in profit. If you do something like this, which is a 9x12, I have a system called 9x12 system. You can fit 14 to 16. This is a student of mine's card. I've just had it sitting on my desk. You can fit 14 to 16 ads on here. Residents get it. They love it because it has other businesses on it in the local area. It's not junk mail or anything, restaurants and things that you would normally use. They each spend a few $100s a piece. On a card like that, you'd spend $500, $600, but you get 10,000 pieces that would normally cost you $10,000 for $500, $600, $700. It's a steal. To anyone with a brain, it is a no-brainer. And you're doing the work of getting other businesses together. Meanwhile, you're making in exchange for your work by getting the postage as low as possible, by getting the printing as low as possible, by getting the design as low as possible. You're making thousands of dollars. The typical profit, if you sold each space for $500, you would make about $4,000 in profit. $4,000 right in profit. Meanwhile, everyone gets this opportunity to get their business into 10,000 local homes. If you sell this for in the $500 to $700 range, which is more typical, it's upwards of $7,000 profit. $7,000 profit to you. Profit, like profit, you can go spend it. $7,000 profit. Meanwhile, they still get $10,000 worth of advertising for less than a tenth of that. So it's very powerful. My friend Scott Meisner, longtime student and fellow marketer, puts these together. These are 11 by 14, so these are really large size. It's just a bigger card with more ad space. He's been doing these. He has switched from 9x12 to 11 by 14, although I still think he does 9x12s too now and then. You're looking at $10,000+ in profit each card. And if you do these on a repeated basis, you're going to have repeat advertisers. You're going to have people that want to go on their own card and they want to send their own one out. These are many thousands of dollars in profit on top of the $5,000 to $10,000 profit that you're going to be making on these cards. That's why I'm telling you it's very easy, and it really is. It's simple. It's simple and relatively easy to make $50,000 a year, your first year, even $100,000 a year. If you were to do 2 of these cards a month for a whole year, on top of the extra services that you're going to sell because you have so many clients, you're going to be in that 6-figure range. There's no catch. It's just you going and putting the businesses together. And I've been doing it for 10 years, and I've been helping other businesses do it for 10 years now. The reason I'm super excited about it is because there's just so much more demand, because there's so fewer options. Talk to a local business owner that's been in business for, let's say, 5 years. They've done a billboard. They've done radio. They've done TV. They've tried to do SEO. They've dumped a whole bunch of money in pay-per-click. Maybe they were doing okay on Facebook, but now it's getting so expensive. They don't know what else to do. There's not newspapers. There's not Yellow Pages. All these others, there's not Living Social and Groupon. That stuff isn't out there. I keep knocking on SEO. For one, it was a valid thing that you could really go into and make as a local marketer and like help businesses with, but it's just so challenging now. For a small business, in my opinion, for a small business to dump money into SEO, to dump thousands of dollars a month in SEO, you're better off just paying pay-per-click. Like, why don't just spend $3,000 a month in pay-per-click and just get to the top. Just pay your way to the top rather than trying to get these spend $1,000 a month organically. So now that I have some of you who are maybe brand new to this and stuff, I want to give some information out for those of you that are more seasoned marketers. Some of my students have been switching to larger mailings and financing them. So that's something you should consider too. So doing like 20,000 piece mailers, getting $1,000 down, putting them on a plan to get these 20,000 mailers out. That's becoming something that I've seen a lot of seasoned postcard marketers start to do. Sometimes you get lazy and you just want to work with 10 clients that spend $3,000 a month with you or whatever. That is where a lot of them end up. I don't blame them. Just wanted to throw it out there. Review cards are super, super, super effective. Scott, I got to shout out Scott Meisner, the guy who does these. He has, and I have the link down below, the review cards that he's doing. I know a lot of marketers are getting super interested in that. And that has to do with the only real digital thing that I like is Google Business Profile, because people search online. Google is very good at displaying what it thinks is going to be the best result. And if you have reviews, I think that's the drive for myself. Having reviews on my business on Google, I come up and I blow every other printer out of the water. They search for printing near me. Mine comes up. There's no question about it. They see my reviews. They see the name. My competitors have, nowhere near as many reviews. The reviews are really, really important. And you can help businesses get reviews by print. So Scott, my buddy Scott, seasoned marketer, has these review cards that he sells. And I don't know how much he sells them for, but they're profitable. And they make... it's just it's a card that the business can scan the QR code and it takes them right to the review thing. And you can give it to them while they're hot. Hey, do you mind just leaving me a review? That builds up business. Super profitable for everyone. Totally legitimate, great service to sell. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have the local marketing masterclass. And I have a digital, all video. I think it's like 50 videos plus this book. Link to that is down in the description. I talk about the process I use for consulting. A large part, probably the biggest part of my income now is just consulting. And it's just a handful of clients. So it's setting up these specific systems. But I'm going to give you, buried into this video here to reward those of you that are watching. When I'm doing consulting, when I'm talking with a business owner who's interested in direct mail and they have a budget, they've got money to spend and they got to make it work and we want to do big things with it, there are two main things that I've got to get them to understand. One is lifetime value. And I go in the booklet and stuff, or in the course, I go through the ways that I get them to understand that, because that's a challenge. You got to get a business to really understand their lifetime value. But it's to targeted mailings and how to find these perfect prospects, where we can now do postcards that go exactly to the prospects that are going to respond. So you get these really high response rates that you can scale, that you're spending $5,000 and you're making $100,000, like these really high ROI campaigns. But also, so that's a big part of the consulting. And the other part is getting them to understand this relatively simple concept. So it's important for you to know as a marketer, businesses are spending so much money on trying to get new business. Like they spend all their money on trying to get new customers. Everything is about new customer. All the marketing budget and the advertising budget that they spend is put towards new customers. Marketing to their existing customers, the same as they're marketing to new customers. And it gets super expensive because getting new customers is the most expensive customer, a brand new person. The cheapest customer is one that already does business with you. So if you can separate your marketing budgets, your ad budgets, into acquiring new customers and keeping old customers coming back, and then even going a step further and getting really old dormant ones and getting them to come back. If you can separate it into those three different parts, total game changer for businesses. You look like a hero, and you can still really keep it within postcards. There's a lot of digital stuff you can do, like in SMS, email, remarketing. That is perfect for getting people. Essentially, you just want to spend the most of money that you can getting a new person in, and then as little money as possible getting them to come back. Because you can send them just even like your basic postcard. If you have a list of existing customers, you can send them super cheap, like 30 cents in postage or something. There's actually a new post office rule that sends 6x9s at the same rate 4x6s used to spend. So that gets really affordable. You're spending like so much less per piece to hit you're spending like $10 to reach one person 10 times a year, or 12 times a year, every month. You're spending like less than $10 per person. And they will come back. They will come back more frequently. So those kind of things are something that I'm always going over in consulting. I just wanted to mention those to you. And also that there is this thing called targeted postcards. A lot of marketers don't even think of this, but I have a really good book here. If you have it, you should read through it again. If you don't, I have a link to that below. But in the Indispensable Postcard Manual, this is where I've relayed pretty much all my secrets of how to do a targeted mailing campaigns. This flies totally on the radar for most local marketers. They don't even think of it. Even when they know about it, they're so focused on EDDM that they don't think about targeted mailers. Targeted mailers being mailers that go to specific lists of people. Best way I can explain targeted mailings and how powerful they are, as opposed to EDDM, I want you to imagine if you were able to send 10,000 solo mailers for just 10 cents each. Imagine being able to send out 10,000 like these solo mailers. Okay, whatever your industry is, dentist, chiropractor, lawn services, 10,000 of these solo mailers. It's just you. It's not a shared mailer where there's a whole bunch. 10,000 for just 10 cents each. Imagine if you could do that, postage and everything. You actually can if you think about this. We're so used to thinking of EDDM, which goes to everyone. And it's great for some businesses. Like it's ideal for pretty much any local business. But EDDM is not targeted. The only targeting that it has is mailing routes. Neighborhoods that maybe have a higher percentage of homeowners, certain age groups, certain incomes. But if you send an EDDM mailer to a mailing route that is mostly homeowners, like higher income, it's not going to be, if it's 600 addresses, it's not going to be 600 homeowners. I promise you, it's just not going to be that. You are probably going to find maybe 1 out of every, maybe 2 out of 3 are homeowners, which means that a lot of those cards weren't actually targets. And same with income. So say you're an upscale remodeler and you're targeting or pools or whatever. Some of those won't be homeowners. Some of them won't be in the income ranges that can afford any of this. Someone that's over 70 years old is likely not installing a new pool. They're likely not putting in a $100,000 kitchen. So there's a ton of non-targets when you do EDDM. Marketers and business people don't think that. They think, okay, I'm sending 10,000 postcards out. That means it's going to 10,000 targets. It's not. It's great, but it's definitely not going to 10,000 targets. So when you think of spending $1 on these per piece, if you're a local marketer, you should hit me up because I have better rates than that. But this is typically $1. They're worth about $1 per piece, all in. We talked about that before. If you were to send 1,000 ultra targeted cards, you can pull a list up of exact age ranges that you want, income levels, whether they have a propensity for joint pain. Fine tune that list down to who they want to target. And if you were to send 1,000 of those cards out for $1,000 a piece, it would be the same as sending probably 10,000 or more EDDM. Plus, you could pick any area, so you can span a whole city and just find the people that you want. You're not limited to exactly this neighborhood. You send 10,000 EDMs, it's got to be in these certain neighborhoods, whereas a targeted list can go the whole radius you want, the whole city, county, whatever, and you can just fine-tune this thing in. So literally, 1,000 targeted postcards are the same as 10,000 EDDM. They are literally the same. So if you were to spend $1 on each solo postcard, ultra targeted, you are essentially getting the exact same value as if it was 10,000 EDDMs. That's where you get these insanely high ROIs. EDDM is great and it's cool, but it is not the highest ROI for most businesses because there's so many non-targets. Now, some businesses are specific EDDM, like pizzerias, even cafes, restaurants, like those are targeted just by area. Everyone eats. I got a client that I'm working with who sells hangar space. He has a couple hangars where you can store your car when you go to like these fancy places, they have the car waiting, you have your own hangar. Those are sent to a targeted list, a fine-tuned targeted list. And he can send 1,000 of them and get an ROI out of that. If you were to send that EDDM and just send it to a random neighborhood, like how many people need a jet, even if you go high income routes, how many people are flying into this place and how many people need their car at the jet when they get off it? Like it wouldn't work. So most businesses do need targeted mailers to see really great results. And you can share those too. You could do the same. You could do this. You can get a bunch of people that just want to target the same crowd. So add this to your arsenal and review. If you haven't reviewed these, like this or this, like go back and review these because they're going to really pump up your game when it comes to marketing. A quick thing to mention is that Gen Z, which is going to be they're all coming into their adult. There's Gen Z adults now. There will be Gen Zs coming into adulting. Every year there's a new group of them. They love the mail. So there's studies on this. You can go searching around. You have to take my word for it. They love physical mail. They are so used to seeing ads on TikTok, on Facebook, on Snapchat too, on Instagram. They're so used to ads. They don't even use email. Gen Z doesn't even use email. So that's email marketing is going to really tank, in my opinion, super tank, but it's fine right now. Millennials still using email, but they're so used to just ads. That's why it's getting so hard. And it's going to get progressively harder because there's so much clutter. They are so used to seeing an ad and it means nothing. But they're not used to getting something in the mail, something personalized, something that's glossy, that's physical. Like this is very valuable to them. They get something in the mail. It's physical. And that's really good. That's another reason why there's just these huge opportunities because this is going to be a channel that's just going to grow and grow and grow as Gen Z over the next few years. I mean, adults are going to be buying homes. They're going to be doing home remodels. They're going to be having babies, all these life stages and all these purchases and stuff. I think the response rates are going to go super high. And I still don't think it'll be crowded. I think businesses will still be just dumping all their time and money into trying to reach them digitally, which is understandable, but let them play that game. You can hit them in the mailbox locally. Other two things I wanted to mention one was AI. We should have this discussion. AI is overtaking everything. Artificial intelligence, machine learning. It is literally just overtaking everything. I see it already, a lot of cool stuff that you can do with data. I really think, though, that in like 5 years, response rates are going to be absolutely through the roof with mailings because like crazy through the roof. Like I feel like mailings are going to have these insanely high ROIs because of AI lists. So we already see it in like realtors. They're using AI and they're able to, their AI models, these can predict what neighborhoods and who are likely to sell their home. Like these models can just predict, and that's just going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. Agents can literally market to these specific people who are shown in these AI models that they're likely to be selling their home within the next 1 year immediately. These are just predictive models and they're just getting smarter and smarter. So this is going to affect all data. Right now, the technology it's been for the last decade or so is that you can take someone's list and create a lookalike audience where all that data is crunched and analyzed and says, okay, all these people have these common traits that maybe you didn't know about. Their ages all seem to be this age, or they have these same lifestyles and interests. And data analyzation software that we do can pick these common traits and demographics and then find other people that have those same ones. So that's super effective, incredibly effective. But now you're going to have AI in there, and AI is going to go in and not just create a lookalike, but you're going to be given a list that is 1,000 people and it's going to have a 20% response rate or something. I really don't have any doubt that that's going to happen. And that should get you frightened and terrified, but also think of the money that we're going to make as marketers when that thing pops off. Because if you're not in this direct mail game right now, that's going to hit. This AI fine-tuned list are going to hit, and you want to be a part of this. I'm telling you want to be a part of this. I can't wait. It's already happening. I also think that sign is going to be totally overtaken by AI because it already is. And that's just the way it's headed. Any postcard designer that gets on board with this, it's going to be you're going to be popping off like perfect designs. Design is going to mix with the data, and you're going to have, okay, this mail piece is going to this crowd. It's going to know what to put on there. It's going to write the copy. It's everything. And you're just going to be making fine-tuned adjustments. And everything is just going to be so optimized, which in theory is best for everyone, because the consumer should be only getting the people that want whatever that is should be getting what they want, and it's relevant, and it's going to appeal to them, and it's not going to be junk. They're going to be thinking of doing a kitchen, and that postcard of your client is going to show up in their mailbox, and it's going to be AI optimized to where it is the perfect, like I feel that is the way it's heading, and it's coming on so strong and so fast. You better get on it. If you have the time, stop, leave me a comment, let me know this is helping. Subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Think about checking out any of my books, any of that stuff in the descriptions down there. Last thing is, I had asked a lot of my marketing students and associates, I said, what are some of the things that you want to hear about? And I sprinkled a bunch of that stuff in here, but one recurring thing was, how do I make a name for myself in the community? How do I get known and get trust? I think that's very important. As a local marketer, I think you need to be known in the community and have some credibility. And you really can't, it's hard to hack your way there. You used to be able to just put up a website, and you'd look fancy and you'd look big and like an established thing, but now people aren't, they're jaded by that. They're totally jaded by that. I think reviews are super important. So get your own Google business profile optimized, start getting reviews. So and if you're starting out from scratch, reviews are just going to need to be something that you start collecting as you go, because you're going to need those reviews. And even just a handful of them, even just 10 of them or something, can make a wild difference, because other people, when someone searches for marketing help near me or printing near me or SEO near me or website design, you want to have yours popping up with the reviews. Makes all the difference. People are so review driven when they buy things. To really be known in the community, I would suggest strongly starting a community Facebook group. I have a whole program on that if you're interested, but I'm also part of other ones too. So I'm able to get business. If you interact, if you post and you contribute, you become known that way. I think Facebook is a really powerful way to be known in your community, just via Facebook, in groups, neighborhood groups, community groups. If you want to take it a step further, start a podcast, start a local business podcast. You can also start a YouTube interview and do it both. Do interviews in video, post them on YouTube, and put it up on an audio podcast. You can do both at the same time. Business owners love to talk. And you'll learn a lot. So you sit down with them, learn about them. And then as you grow, you're going to be able to sell them stuff. You can put together a postcard like that. You do a free interview, mention what you do, and you'll probably sell every single one of them postcard space. Or printing, if you're reselling printing, that's a fantastic strategy too. This way you will get known very, very fast. You'll have lots of interviews. You'll get exposure. You can put this on community groups. You can post this to your Facebook. You can start off totally from scratch. You don't have to be a business pro. You don't have to be an experienced. You're just the interviewer. As you get better, you're going to start to have deeper conversations, better relationships, and you're going to start selling work, selling deals just from these free interviews. The opportunities this coming year and coming years are just so good. They're so good. Hope to see you out there.